Well, of course, an eventful day in Indian politics, especially Parliament. But here in Gujarat, everybody is asking what impact this election will have on the national scene. Everybody is convinced that it will change it one way or the other. Now, of course, today has been the first phase of polling and it's seen a historically high voter turnout of 68%. 52 of those seats were actually from the region of Saurashtra, the region that is home to Keshubhai Patel, considered by many to be the one person who could play spoiler in this election. Could he even play challenger? That's what Rohit Bhan tried to investigate.
Can this man be a spoiler for Narendra Modi? 84-year-old Keshubhai Patel casting his vote in Rajkot. On a day, polling was held for 87 seats in the first phase of the Gujarat Assembly elections. With 52 of those seats in the politically critical Saurashtra region, the focus is on the man who wields considerable clout within the Patel community. Patels constitute almost 20% of the voters here. Many believe that the key to power in Gandhinagar is Saurashtra. Modi had won 38 of the 52 seats in the region last time, but this time the K factor could make a dent.
अरे बीजेपी की हमें क्या चिंता? हमें तो हमारी चिंता है. हम बहुमत लेंगे.
In 2007, hundreds of Patel voters had turned up at this booth in anticipation that Keshubhai Patel would declare an open rebellion and cast his vote against Modi's BJP. Something that did not happen. In 2012, his supporters are hoping that with a more strident anti-Modi approach and a different political avatar, Keshubhai Patel could dent Modi's chances of a third successive victory. But six-time MLA and State Finance Minister Vajwala, whose fate is now locked in the EVM machines, asserts that the Modi factor will win the day.
12 साल तक काम किया है जो नरेंद्र मोदी ने पानी का काम किया है, रास्ता का काम किया है, हेल्थ के लिए काम किया है, एग्रीकल्चर का काम किया है, इंडस्ट्रीज को प्रोत्साहन दिया है. सभी तरह का एक राज्य सरकार जिस तरह से काम करना चाहिए वो सब तरीका का काम किया है.
Importantly, even the tribal-dominated South Gujarat region saw a good voter turnout. This is where Modi lost as many as 11 seats to the Congress the last time. The Congress is hoping for major gains in this region as it also has a significant percentage of Muslim voters.
वोटिंग परसेंटेज बहुत तेजी से बढ़ता हुआ दिखाई दे रहा है पूरे
वही इस चीज की निशानी है. इस बात को प्रमाण करता है कि कितना असंतुष्ट है लोग यहाँ की सरकार से.
With the fate of almost half the candidates to the next assembly sealed, the Gujarat Chief Minister now has his eyes set on the central Gujarat region, hoping that any losses in Saurashtra can be made up by gains in that region. In Rajkot, with camera person Pramod Arya, Rohit Bhan for NDTV.
All right, so a historic 68% voter turnout, and even now here in Ahmedabad, I can hear the sound of election drums beating behind me, people out on the streets. This is going to be an eventful election one way or the other, and the question we're asking today is what impact this election will have on national politics. Let's introduce our panel this evening. We're joined by Manish Tiwari, he's the Minister for Information and Broadcasting. We're also joined by Ravi Shankar Prasad, who's of course the senior leader of the BJP. We're joined also by a resident Gujarati, but we know him in Delhi as a senior advocate of the Supreme Court, Dushyant Dave. And with me here at Veshala in Ahmedabad is Salahuddin Babi, and he's of course from the erstwhile royal family of Khera, so known previously as a Nawabzada. And let me take this straight to you, Manish Tiwari, if I may. How does the Congress, just to first look at this historic voter turnout, how do you read the 68% voter turnout today?
Well, Barka, if you go by historical trends, a high voter turnout is indicative of anti-incumbency. So therefore, if you were to extrapolate the voter turnout today in Saurashtra to the percentages which are there earlier or which held the field earlier, I think it is very indicative of the way in which the winds are blowing in Gujarat.
Isn't that just wishful thinking, Manish? Most people here seem to think one way or the other this election is headed Mr. Modi's way.
Well, Barkha, at the end of the day, till the time the last vote is not cast and the last vote is not counted, you know, it is all wishful thinking on all sides. So therefore, if you do believe in the science of psephology and you believe in historical precedent and you believe in trend lines, then I think the trend lines are telling their own story.
Ravi Shankar Prasad, you've heard what Manish is saying, and 52 of today's seats are, of course, from Saurashtra, where Keshubhai Patel, who's, of course, from earlier from your party, still believed to have close relations with the RSS, is trying to play challenger. What is your assessment? Will he play spoiler for you this time? How do you read the high voter turnout?
Barkha, first we need to understand that this conventional view of anti-incumbency, high voter turnout, has now completely changed. Anti-incumbency has been changed now to performance reward, which is happening in many states. You may recall in the last 2010 Bihar election also, there was a massive voter turnout, and the Congress party and Lalu Prasadji was saying the same thing. What happened thereafter? Therefore, this massive turnout, on the contrary, is the kind of reaffirmation of support for Narendra Modi. As far as Saurashtra region is concerned, I myself campaigned very extensively in that area, the Kutch Bhuj area. In the last election also, I travelled extensively from Bhavnagar to Rajkot area. Barkha, what has happened in Gujarat is, yes, Keshubhai Patel is a tall leader. We all know that. But what has happened in Gujarat is that people beyond the caste divide have gone to the larger persona of governance, of achievement, and obviously the personality of Narendra Modi. Now, all this combining together into the voting percentage we are just mentioning. And Congress party could not give any credible opposition nor any effective leader.
Okay, I want to step back now and look at our main subject for discussion. And before I come to Dushyant Dave and Salahuddin Khan Babi, I want to take this back to Manish Tiwari and Ravi Shankar Prasad. What impact will this election have on national politics? What are the kind of questions it's throwing up for Indian polity? Manish, to you first. I've spent now the last 10 days here in Gujarat, and I was really struck by the fact that the Congress posters did not have a single face of any major Congress leader. Not Rahul Gandhi, not Manmohan Singh, not Sonia Gandhi. Obviously, a deliberate strategy, some would say, to avoid a high-profile defeat, an attempt to make this seem like a state election, not a national referendum. But I have never seen an election that is faceless and nameless. Why did the Congress not have the confidence to put its leadership on its own election posters and hoardings?
Well, I think, Barkha, you possibly are not going by historical precedent again. State elections are essentially fought on state issues. In fact, elections all across the country, even parliamentary elections, have become very local in character. So therefore, you have a state leadership which has been a credible opposition, contrary to what Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad may think, which has pinned the Modi government and the BJP government down on issues. So therefore, we went into this elections cognizant of the fact that here is a chief minister and here is a party which is trying to clutch on to straws, which is trying to sweep its own malgovernance under the carpet by trying to conjure up issues, or rather trying to conjure up non-issues, which one by one, fell by the wayside. So eventually, in the context of Gujarat or in the context of any other state going to elections, it is really local issues which define the choice of the electorate.
Fair enough,
or define the choice of the voter.
But why no faces? But why no faces or names? Or I mean, on one hand, Rahul Gandhi's name, Manish, was announced as the person who is going to be the architect of the 2014 campaign. On the other hand, Rahul Gandhi is not willing to put his face to this campaign. I mean, isn't there a contradiction there? If he's not willing to fight Mr. Modi in Gujarat, how will he fight Mr. Modi in 2014 if he switches to the national stage? Isn't that a contradiction?
Well, the contradiction is that you're not recognizing the difference between a state election and a national election. And all these people who are talking about putting a face to the campaign, may I very respectfully ask them that in 2008, when they were fighting the state assembly elections in Delhi, what is the face which they put on to their campaign? Or if I was to rewind even further back to 2003 in Chhattisgarh, what is the face that they put on the campaign? So therefore, there are different situations, and different situations dictate different dynamics and different choices. And in the case of Gujarat, the Congress party cohesively, holistically has been a credible opposition. It has been led from the front by our PCC President, Mr. Arjun Modwadia, very ably assisted by the CLP leader, Mr. Shakti Singh Goyal. And those are the people who are in the forefront of the campaign even today. And if you travel across Gujarat, which I do believe that you may have, you would have noticed that these are the people who have been fanning out to different districts, to different assembly constituencies, and carrying the message of the Congress party as also the non-achievement of the government over the past 11 years.
Ravi Shankar Prasad, do you accept that this is a curious campaign? Because while the Congress has made it all about local issues, Narendra Modi's campaign seems to be all about when he will shift from Gujarat to Delhi. If the Congress has a problem in declaring who its chief ministerial candidate in Gujarat is, the BJP certainly has a problem in declaring who its prime ministerial candidate will be. And the Congress has taunted the BJP again and again, saying, if you're so certain about Narendra Modi, why don't you just announce him as a prime ministerial candidate? So do both campaigns have equal and opposite problems?
Not the least, Barkha. Narendra Modi ji himself has declared this is the election for Gujarat. This is the election for Chief Minister. I don't know whether you could meet him or not, but so many people have asked him the same question, and he
doesn't talk to me. He doesn't talk to me, just for the record, so I can't meet him. But continue.
All right.
But
that is your problem. That is your problem, and there are also historical reasons for that for the last 10 years. Let's leave it there, Barkha, since you mentioned that. The point I'm trying to highlight
I just do my job. I just do my job, just on that note, but go ahead. Yeah.
Can I speak now, Barkha?
Yes,
my point is very simple, Barkha. Narendra Modi has repeatedly clarified that this election is for Gujarat, for the pride of Gujarat, for the development of Gujarat, and the great record of governance and achievement which Gujarat has shown. He has never at all even entertained any idea or any questions that it is an election for Prime Minister. Yes, he has certainly attacked the way India is being governed and the way in which Gujarat is being governed. And it is only because of comparison when his statements have been made as to what is happening in Gujarat, then question he has asked, and quite legitimately, that should we govern Gujarat in the same manner in which Dr. Manmohan Singh and Sonia Gandhi are governing Delhi or India. It is only in that connection. As far as the issue of Prime Minister is concerned, again your question is quite premature. I am surprised as to why you are asking this question. Yes, Shri Narendra Modi is a very tall leader. We are very proud of his achievement. Undoubtedly, BJP is not a family concern that only one has to be there. Who will be the PM's candidate will be decided appropriately by the party's decision-making process. It has been explained time and time again.
Fair enough.
Even Sushma ji said that Narendra Modi has got the potential to become the Prime Minister. But one last point I must need to clarify. If Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi can have their pictures on the posters in Bihar or in UP or in all other states, why not in Gujarat? This by itself is an acknowledgement of the very certain defeat. And just to put the record straight of Shri Manish Tiwari, in Chhattisgarh I have been in charge there, or in Delhi, the leadership posters, the photograph of our national leaders was very much there, unlike the case of Congress in Gujarat.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app, fully optimized for retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.